beautiful astrolites. As you can see, it is a gorgeous Thursday morning here at the park. And okay, so I'm coming out of Safeway, and petitioners are doing their rounds, and their primary focus is getting people to petition to lower the rent. Now, why I don't believe that's true is the proof is in the pudding, basically. You know, you see all of this homelessness around you, and they're just never going to pass it. Homelessness is increasing. If rent would truly be lower, it would have been lower years ago. But we have a whole bunch of. You know, the ironic thing about it is we have some of the smartest board members that approve and deny certain petitions, but they make the dumbest decisions to deny the more, how did you say, relevant, the more relevant, um, the more relevant notions, basically, lowering rent, increasing minimum wage, etc., etc. If they were truly going to lower the rent or have more rent controlled buildings put in place, they would have done so for years now. This should have this should have happened even before it became a thing. Before homelessness became a thing. That's how long it should have been in effect already. But the fact is, and I admire their ambition. I really do. The thing is about it is that you got to think realistically. Um, Basically, anytime I hear, uh, "Hey, come over to our table and help lower rent increase," I'm just thinking to myself, pretty much, you know what? If wishes were presents, if unicorns existed, if pigs could fly, so on and so forth. And I know people, you guys are like, "Oh, Astro, that's a little cynical." It may sound cynical, but it's real. They're never gonna decrease the rent pricing. It's up to us to adapt our way of living. We can't worry about what the powers that be are doing, because all they're doing is making our lives worse, especially when it comes to our living situations. The only people we can count on are ourselves. And yes, we have some low income housing buildings. We have certain places that allow rent control, or things of that nature. Excuse me. But you've got to think realistically. And I've been telling people this. I've been telling people, look, I know you want to get this so and so here and there in this building, whatever. But at the same time, you got to consider, because they look at income out of everything else. Credit as well. But credit aside, the income is what they most are interested in. Because that's going to determine. Oh, hey, Livy. That's going to determine whether or not you will be approved. It's not always credit. Credit is basically income sidekick, if you will. Those are the two things that they really look at. Otherwise, they're just like, You know what? You don't make enough, you're gonna have to find a place elsewhere. Like, they're doing a whole bunch of craziness when it comes to rent. And, I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 more times. They will not, they will not pass the decreasing of rent. It's up to us to adapt. That's what we have to do. You know, if you're planning to move into a new place, you have to look at your finances. You have to modify them, if you will. You have to put a little bit here and a little bit there. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O, no. I know that came off as corny, but you know what? I don't care. I'm in a good mood. But it'd be nice to just walk out of a store and not have to worry about petitioners working with pipe dreams. And I used to petition myself, but then I woke up. I don't like asking people to sign for things, especially especially if they're being realistic about it. Rent will rent's never going to be lower. They're just going to increase, increase, increase. That's how the monopoly is going to work these days. You can put your name on a bunch of those petitions pretty much until the cows come home. It's not going to happen. Either you're going to adapt your lifestyle, or you're pretty much going to slowly perish. That's how it is these days. It's sad, but it's true. You have to adapt your life as well as your income. Let me give an example. Pretty much helicopter. Looking for somebody. But anyway, pretty much an example. Yeah, they're aggressive, and they're being aggressive over something that's never going to happen. We have tried for years. They've been trying especially for this year. They've been trying for months. Hey, sign your name on the petition here. A lot of us have already signed that petition. And for those of us that haven't but plan to, it's not going to matter either way. Realistically, if you are just above or below the poverty line, you have to look at low-income housing, or you have to find a couple other roommates to be able to qualify for at least a one-bedroom apartment. That's how it is these days. And you can see my thumbnail, I decided to use two broke girls. They had nothing to their name, but their apartment was rent controlled. That's a blessing right there. Just as long as they don't answer the wall phone. But anyway. I really wish people would start thinking more realistically. Would it be a dream to see low rent? Absolutely. But that's only if you apply for those low-income apartments. I talked about gentrification a few videos ago. That's what they're doing, especially down here. They're putting all these new buildings up, and a few of these buildings, they're making it impossible for you to move into. My brother and I, we've been having that issue for nearly a decade now. And I'm actually happy because I was talking to him and he might actually have a spot. I'm not getting my hopes high, but you know what? It's something. When it's something, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, you know? You gotta count your blessings, even if they don't come through all the time. But you know what? I gotta stay prayed up for my brother. I'm proud of what he's doing. But aside from that, the notion still stands. They're not gonna pass the rent increase. Or rent decrease, excuse me. Oh yeah, yeah, he found the place. The lady was very lenient with him. He basically called me a few moments ago. He was telling me what the steps were. And, you know, I pretty much told him, let me know the exact moment after you've finished doing the application and after you send it in. And just let me know what I can do to help. And it's really difficult, even to find just a single one-bedroom apartment, even if you can afford it. One bedrooms are scarce these days. The ones who are snagging the one bedrooms either have 3 or more roommates that they're splitting the rent with, or they hit the lottery, they have a trust fund, basically they have a bunch of money they don't know what to do with. Those are the people who are snagging these one-bedroom apartments. You really gotta, Astrolites, I implore you, please think more realistically. If you're looking for new places, use caution. If you're above or below the poverty line and you're just able to find low-income housing, take advantage of that. And even if it's a 2-bedroom apartment, like find somebody who's willing to help you get into that 2-bedroom low-income housing. Trust me, I've been homeless. It's no fun. I've couch surfed. I've done this, that, and the third. It's no picnic, believe me on this. But the fact of the matter is, my point's gonna stay the same. They will not lower the rent. We have to adapt our situations. We have to put that single dollar in a safe place so we can watch it build and be like, you know what? I finally have enough money to cover the spot I really want to get. And they told me that it's the last spot, let's say for example, and I got the last spot. That's pretty much how it's gonna be. These petitions, they're basically moot at this point. Just focus on building your financials up first. It's important to build your financials, and I've been telling you guys since day one. If you want to build up more money, follow these tips and tricks. Just don't put your hopes too much into a petition that may or may not get passed. And last thing I remember was petitions usually get passed. I think it's the summertime, but I'm not sure. But I know lowering rent's a good thing, but don't put too much high hopes into it. It's going to take a lot of hard work and much adaptation just to find a decent place. You know, they got all. Because there are a lot of places that only have studios, and people don't want those. And I understand it. But at the same time, you gotta think realistically. Once again, would I rather have a studio, even if it's temporary, or would I rather just be homeless until I can find myself a one bedroom? I pray that it's not option B, to be honest. Because, like I said, yes, they're too small, exactly. And my brother was telling me about the place that he was interested in. It's much more spacious than the place he's at now. And that's amazing. That's best news I've heard all day. So, him and his buddy, they're gonna get that application done today. He's gonna keep me updated, keep me posted. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. You have to rely on yourself to be able to build your funds up so you can say, I've made it. I didn't have to worry about signing a petition to lower rent. I do too, Lovey. I don't have to worry about signing my name on a petition to lower rent. I don't have to rely on anybody else helping me get a place. I don't even need someone else's name on a lease. Me, myself, and I. If you have somebody you trust with your life to help you out, then that's great. That's wonderful. I'm saying basically, don't literally rely on yourself. Just rely on building your stacks, getting your financial situations in order. Avoid homelessness at all costs. If you want to sign your name on the petition, that's great, but it's really not going to do much. I'm sorry to tell you. Because a lot of people, that kind of petition, a lot of people have signed their name on, and they still haven't seen a difference. Because homelessness continues to increase. Personally, I'd say don't bother signing the petition because for years now. We've been wanting to lower rent for years, and there's still no change. Homelessness continues to increase. They're kicking out the people who pay their rent on time. It's just really bad, guys. That's why I believe that they're not going to lower the rent, because it's been done for the past few years. Exactly, and we're adults. We shouldn't be having other people signing their names on a lease. And even my brother was telling me at the place he's interested in, he may not have to do that. And I'm just like, you know what, that's great. Because I know that'll be less stress on him. Work on building your financial income. And the deadline for tax day is on the 18th. So for those of you who have gotten let's say charming income from your tax refund. One moment. Oh, I thought they were gonna keep going. They wait until after they passed me. That's funny. Anyway. Losing my train of thought here. Oh, right. Pretty much, we shouldn't have to worry about having another person's name on the lease. We shouldn't have to have 2 to 3 times the rent, especially if the place looks like garbage. And I don't know what's going on. I think, yeah, it search me, Lovey. I have no idea. But anyway, just be smart. That's all I ask. Focus on building your financial income. Don't worry about petitioners. Avoid the places that ask you for 2 to 3 times the rent. Look for low income housing. Do whatever you can to avoid getting all of your money sucked out. And it's better to have a roof over your head than no roof at all. Trust me on this. Now I remember what I was talking about. If you have a charming tax refund, use that for a new place. Don't be like these other bums and bozos who just use it for new game systems, new flat screens, and so on and so forth. Your tax refunds are not for that. You know why they do taxes around the spring and summertime? It's because people are losing their places to live. That is your time to find a new place. This is around the time where people are getting eviction notices. Oh, beautiful. My brother just told me that he finished the registration process. I'll look more into that message as soon as I log off here. But anyway, use your tax refunds to good use. Use that as a new place to move into. Even if you don't have too much of a tax refund this year, it's still best to build up on that. So you'll be able to go look at your excuse me, getting tongue tied here. So that you can look back at your income and be like, whoa, I didn't have much of a tax refund, but I put it to good use. And now a new month has started. I finally have enough to go out and look for a new place and have a happy life. I didn't have to sign my name on petitions. I didn't have to worry about someone else's name being on the lease. I didn't have to go to places that asked for 2 to 3 times the rent. I just focused on my own financial situations. And I implore you to do the same thing. Okay, Astrolites? That's all the time I got for you. I appreciate you guys watching. I love you all. Remember what I said. We'll talk soon.